Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the next quiz in the series from Mr. Chapman, the quiz wizard. It's today's quickfire quiz. First of all, just a really big thank you from me for everybody who has been taking part so far. And I've got a shout out today for Ayub Sayer. So Ayub's in year 3 and he has taken part in every single one of my quizzes so far. So well done. I'm glad that you are enjoying them. So today's quiz, just like all the others, will have 10 questions in, all on subjects that you have learnt at school and also some general trivia as well. So let's see what our quiz has in store for us today. Okay, question 1 is a movie question. Which movie features 2 characters called Simba and Mufasa? Which movie features 2 characters called Simba and Mufasa? This is one of Mr. Chapman's favourite films. Question 2, English. What punctuation needs to be changed in this sentence below? The fluffy dog was called Woody. What punctuation needs to be changed in this sentence below? The fluffy dog was called Woody. Make sure you look at the sentence carefully. Who knows how many changes there need to be? And that dog is certainly very fluffy. What punctuation needs to be added? Question 3 is a maths question to do with time again, problem solving. Tom got up at 7 a.m. It took him 35 minutes to get ready and then 20 minutes to get to school. What time did he get to school? I'll read that for you once more. Try and pick out the key facts. Tom got up at 7 a.m. It took him 35 minutes to get ready and then 20 minutes to get to school. What time did he get to school? The good old trusted number line is there to maybe give you a little bit of a helping hand. Think about how long it's taken him to do the things that he needed to before he got to school. And if you're unsure, I'll go through a method at the end of the quiz when I go through the answers. Question 4 is a science question. Sound waves can be reflected off solid objects. When this happens, what is it called? So sound waves can be reflected off solid objects. And when this happens, what is it called? Think about, as the picture shows, what you might hear. What's that called? Question 5. Halfway through, literature, children's literature. Who is the famous author of the Harry Potter series of books? Who is the famous author of the Harry Potter series of books? If you haven't had a chance to read any of them yet, you really should. Yes, there are films, but they are great books as well, and they will really improve your use of vocabulary in your writing. Brilliant books. Halfway through. Question 6 is a D&T question. We've looked at circuits a little bit before, but here we've got a classic circuit with a battery, a switch, and a bulb. How can you make the bulb brighter in a circuit? So if you wanted to make this bulb in this circuit brighter, what could you do? What could you do? Question number 7. Maths. Shape. 3D shape. This is a cube. How many vertices are there on a cube? How many vertices are there on a cube? If you are not sure what a vertice is, it might be a new bit of knowledge that you've not heard before. Don't worry. I'll tell you what they are later. They're actually very simple to understand. How many vertices are there on a cube? Question 8. Which influential British artist is famous for these pieces of artwork down here? You might recognise some of them, but which influential British artist is famous for these pieces of artwork? Question 9. We all recognise Captain Tom Moore, but there's a sentence about him here. What is the relative clause in the sentence? Captain Tom Moore, who was 100 years old, was #1 in the music charts. Well done, an incredible story. Captain Tom Moore, who was 100 years old, was #1 in the music charts. But what is the relative clause in that sentence? Can you remember back to a few quizzes before where we've looked at relative clauses as well? And the last question of our quiz today, question 10. Complete the title of this Demi Lovato song. Sorry, not. Complete the title of this Demi Lovato song. Sorry, not. I think you already know that Mr. Chapman would not know the answer to this question. I think there might be some teachers and parents out there who are thinking, Okay, so you have finished the quiz for today. Round of applause to you all. Good stuff. Well done. Give yourselves a pat on the back if you want to. Well done. Now, before I go through the answers, I've got a little game for you today. It's called Guess the Celebrity. I'm going to give you 3 clues, and you need to try and guess who the person is. Okay, so here we go. My first clue today is clue 1. I live in Springfield. Clue number 2. I work in a nuclear power station. I work in a nuclear power station. And clue number 3. I love eating donuts. I love eating donuts. So my 3 clues. I live in Springfield. I work in a nuclear power station. I love eating donuts. Get your answers down. Who do you think the celebrity person was? I'm going to reveal the answer now. And if you put Homer Simpson, oh, you are correct. Yes, he lives in Springfield. He's a member of the Simpsons. He works at Mr. Burns's nuclear power plant. And yes, he loves donuts. Donuts. Well done if you put Homer Simpson. Right, let's go through our answers. Question 1. The Lion King features the characters Simba and Mufasa. If you get the chance to ever see the stage show down in London, it is really worth going to see. It is amazing. Question 2. The punctuation. The fluffy dog was called Woody. There were 3 things that were missing. The start of the sentence needs a capital letter. So does Woody, because Woody is the name of a dog. It's a proper noun. And every sentence ends with a piece of punctuation. I've chosen to use a full stop here. You could have used an exclamation mark if you wanted, but really, full stop is more appropriate. So there were 3 changes, 2 capital letters and 1 full stop. Well done if you spotted all 3. Question 3. The problem solving. Tom got up at 7 a.m. It took him 35 minutes to get ready and then 20 minutes to get to school. What time did he get to school? So he started at 7 o'clock. It took him 35 minutes to get ready. So add 30 takes you to 7:30. Add the other 5 takes you to 7:35. It then took him 20 minutes to get to school. So add on 20 minutes would take you 7:45, 7:55. The answer is 7:55 a.m. You may have solved it in another way. you may have added up all the time it took him to do things. So 35 minutes add 20 minutes is 55 minutes. 7 a.m. add 55 minutes is 7:55 a.m. Or you could have realised that 55 minutes is close to an hour. So just add on 1 hour, which would take from 7 until 8. You need to take away those 5 minutes again, which again would give you 7:55. Question 4. Sound waves can be reflected off solid objects. When this happens, it is called an echo. So as you can see in the diagram here, if you make a clap, for example, those sound waves move and it could hit and reflect off a wall, and that is when you hear that sound. Have you ever heard your voice echo in a large empty room? Why don't you see if you can try and recreate an echo somehow today? Question 5. The Harry Potter series of books were written by J.K. Rowling, and I just thought an interesting fact and a bit of information to tell you. More than 500 million copies are sold worldwide. And also, she had to show some great personal characteristics here to become the famous person that she is. Determination and perseverance. Her first stories that she sent off to publishers, they were sent back. They weren't picked to be published. But she kept writing, she kept writing, she kept changing the story, and look at her now, one of the world's most famous authors. So keep going if you find things tricky. Question 6, how can you make a ball brighter in a circuit? You could add another battery. Excuse me. If you look at this circuit here, we've got 1 battery and 1 bulb. So that bulb will be lit up, will be bright. However, if we put 2 batteries in and still just have 1 bulb, there's more power going through that circuit, so it will be brighter. Tweet me an answer to this if you think you know what would happen. What do you think would happen to the brightness of the bulb if there were 2 bulbs and 1 battery in the circuit? Question 7. How many vertices are there on a cube? So 1 vertex is called a vertex. It's basically a mathematical term for a corner. It just means a corner where two edges meet. So you've got faces, vertices, and edges. And where 2 edges meet, that is called a vertice. So if you look at this diagram of the cube here, each of these bits that are in yellow is an example of a vertice where 2 edges meet. So there are 8 vertices on a cube. Think about some other 3D shapes. Think about how many vertices, edges, and faces they have. Question 8. Those famous pieces of art were by David Hockney. You may have heard of him. Why not research him and create your own piece of art in his style? Question 9. The relative clause in the sentence, Captain Tom Moore, who was 100 years old, was number 1 in the music charts. I've forgotten my full stop at the end. Mr. Chapman. But remember, a relative clause adds extra information to a sentence. They usually start with who, which, when, or whose. So the relative clause there is who was 100 years old. If you took that relative clause out, the rest of the sentence would still make sense. Captain Tom Moore was number 1 in the music charts. It's You'll Never Walk Alone, and he sings it with Michael Ball. Can you write your own relative clause sentence about this picture? And question 10, the Demi Lovato song was Sorry Not Sorry. Well done if you got that, especially to teachers and parents. So, again, how did you get on today? I hope you have enjoyed the quiz. Please, 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 if you've enjoyed the quiz today, don't forget to press the like button. And also, if you're allowed to, don't forget to ask first. Subscribe to my channel. That will tell you when new quizzes come available. And tell your friends about the Quiz Wizard and tell your teachers about the Quiz Wizard. If you want to get in touch with me, feel free to tweet me at _quiz_wizard. I really hope that I see you back here tomorrow for another quiz. And last thing for me to say is class dismissed.